Premier League lineups coming up in just a few minutes. I'm gonna be going over all of the lineups, the formations, any injuries going on, maybe a few thoughts on the 4 games that are coming up here on Wednesday. All right, here we go. Welcome to the show. RotoWire.com/soccer trial, 48-hour trial. I'm going to be using our cheat sheet where you can get where you can use that trial. You can also use that trial pretty much everywhere on RotoWire. But as you can see on the site, on the right hand of the side of the screen, as you're watching on YouTube or Twitter here, I got RotoWire soccer page up, and on the left side, I have our Twitter list up. If you're unfamiliar with our Twitter list, it's just basically the Twitter account for all the teams. That's where they release their lineup. You can find that at RotoWire Soccer right on Twitter, and just hit follow, and you can get all the updates yourself if you want to if you want all the updates for yourself instead of following along here on the show. But as you can see on the site, we do have, if you're here for DFS, we have a full DFS preview. You can watch that at YouTube at RotoWire Soccer, or you can listen to that in the podcast feed at RotoWire Soccer. And then we also have a FanDuel article up. Dane Scheinalt wrote a FanDuel article. So if you're into FanDuel, we have an article up for that. And if you're into DraftKings, Jack Burkhart and Ryan Belangi did a show on that. But I'm going to be going over the 4 games. You don't have to play DFS. You can maybe just be a bettor, or you just want to know what's going on with these teams. I'm going to be going over all of the 8 lineups here. Usually with these midweek ones, I usually run into most teams don't rotate a ton in these midweek matches, and then it's when the weekend games come up. A lot of this depends on matchup and that kind of thing, but most teams will kind of run out their same starting 11s for this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday game, and then once the weekend hits, Saturday, Sunday, that's when you see a little bit more rotation. But we're going to find out what these teams actually want to do here, because I mean, pretty much all of these teams could rotate anywhere. We've seen Liverpool rotate plenty in Europa League. We'll see how they look if Gakpo gets a start, if I don't know, Harvey Elliott gets a start, Joe Gomez at left back kind of thing. Let's see what Chris Wilder decides to do with Sheffield United. He led Sheffield United to relegation a few years ago. And then Heckingbottom took over, but Heckingbottom's gone. I don't think he's going to change much. I think he was officially announced on Tuesday, if I remember correctly. So I doubt they're going to change much. He still is a guy who runs out like a 3-4, 3-4-2-1, 3-5-2, whatever you want to call it there. And Crystal Palace don't really have a ton to rotate. Bournemouth, maybe 1 or 2 players will rotate here and there. Fulham, there could be some rotation. We saw some rotation over the weekend. Nottingham Forest is another team that could have some rotation. Guys like Callum Hudson-Odoi are back from injury. Divock Origi maybe ready for a start, something like that. Willy Boley also went out in the last match. And then a question for a guy like Danilo. Also, Ibrahim Sangare was dealing with an illness. Maybe he's back in the starting 11, stuff like that. So it's pretty much for all these teams. But on our cheat sheet here, rotowire.com/soccer trial, 48-hour trial, we get the odds report. We got anytime goal scoring odds, free kick tracker, which I know everyone wants to know about free kicks. It's right here on the cheat sheet. Very easy. Player stats per 90 minutes. All this stuff is sortable. And then team conceded stats. All right, looks like we should have some lineups coming out. So let's take a look at them. All right, I'm going to say I usually like to scroll on the bottom so I don't miss anything here. So here's Liverpool. So we got Joe Gomez is starting at left back with TAA on the other side. So that is, according to me, it's not that surprising. Wataru Endo, he had the winner for Liverpool in their match against Fulham. So Endo is in the midfield. So he's basically kind of starting over Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones didn't start in the last game. Gravenberch started in the last game. So Gravenberch moves to the bench. McAllister and Szoboszlai are still in there. And then Luis Diaz, Mohamed Salah, and I guess the big news here is Darwin Nunez. He went 90 minutes over the weekend. He'll be coming off the bench in this one. So Cody Gakpo is starting in the number 9, false 9, in the central forward role there for Liverpool. Let's just do a quick check on the bench. Yes, Tsimikas is on the bench. Darwin's on the bench. Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott's, all the usuals. Gravenberch are on the bench. So there are no surprises for who's actually available for Liverpool. Fulham, what do we got here? Tim Ream Tim Ream is on the bench for Fulham. So that's the change for them. Timothy Castagna moves back to the starting 11 for Kenny Tete, who started last game. Tosin gets his first start of the season. Tosin Adebayo, a center back, starts for them next to Kelvin Bassey. Tim Ream, I think he's, 35 years old, so I guess he can't go and bet in a couple games on a week. Then Paulinho, Tom Kearney is back in the starting 11. He started a couple games ago. I believe it was the home match against Wolverhampton, if I want to remember correctly. They won 3-2, the game with a bunch of PKs. Tom Kearney did start that one. Andreas is still in there. So Kearney and Andreas and Willian all in play for set pieces. So you could look at this like a 4-2-3-1. It's actually listed like a 4-3-3 here, but again, not don't want to get too specific here, but 4-2-3-1. Iwobi has been playing on the right wing. We figure Willian's gonna be in the left wing. Raul Jimenez as the number 9. Andres Pereira, kind of the central attacking midfield role, his usual role. He's going to be there for 65 or so minutes. He'll likely be one of the first guys subbed off. Nottingham Forest, of course, they got to be difficult with their lineup. They made 5 changes according to this. As I suspected, Divock Origi into the starting 11. This is, I believe, his first league start of the season, so that's fun. So congrats to him on getting back to fitness. I know he had a beer belly when he first joined Nottingham Forest, but it looks like he's good to go. Takes the spot of Chris Wood, who is on the bench. So let's look through this lineup a little bit more because they list. I'm not even sure. They list the starting lineup by numbers, so we got to kind of go off this. So we got Ola Aina and Tafalo are in there. Felipe at center back, Murillo at center back. As I said, Sangare is back from his illness, so we got Mangala, Sangare, Dominguez in the starting 11. Gibbs White is out of the starting 11. Gibbs White is on the bench, so that's a big news there. Again, you can use our cheat sheets here to look at who's actually going to be the set piece taker. So it's probably going to be, we had the situation early in the season where Gibbs White was benched home against Brentford. And I think both Alanga and Hudson-Odoi started that match. Yeah, I think that was the case. So Hudson-Odoi, I guess technically Serge Aurier took a set piece in that game. He's actually not starting. So Hudson-Odoi probably going to be on the majority of set pieces in this game. So that's some big news for DFS purposes there. So it's going to be Origi's in there, and then Hudson-Odoi and Alanga are in there, and then Gibbs White will probably go on for one of those guys. Maybe Alanga because he's starting back-to-back matches. We'll see. For first match for Chris Wilder, 5 changes. Okay, so I was wrong. He's been there for a day, and he already has some changes up his sleeve. Granted, some of this has to do with injury. They're giving the start to Brooks, who I believe has been mostly an academy player this season. Will Asula is also back in the starting 11. So early in the season, due to injury, Will Asula was getting starts up front. So he's next to Cameron Archer. Okay, so let's break this down. Jaden Bogle's on the wing. So Brooks is going to be at left wing back. He's starting over Luke Thomas. Luke Thomas, who has been criticized by pretty much everyone around Sheffield United. So Luke Thomas is on the bench. So this still looks like a 3-4-2-1-ish, depending how you depending what you think about. I guess probably a 3-5-2 because Gustavo Hammer, James McAtee, Hammer probably gets a little more forward there. I guess you could say 3-4-2-1, but how it's listed, I would say 3-5-2. Hammer may be getting a little more forward than McAtee, but we'll see how they line up. Vinicius also back in the starting 11 there in the midfield. So I guess there are some changes there. Home against Liverpool, giving the start to youngster Will Asula, Benny Traore on the bench. Usual guys on the bench. I know Baldock got injured last game, so he's out. Let's see what we got for Bournemouth. Luis Sinisterra, the Leeds United player. I believe this is his first league start of the season. Otherwise, I think everything looks the same. So Sinisterra is actually starting over Tavernier. which maybe isn't surprising because Marcus Tavernier has dealt with a bunch of injuries the past couple of years, so they're giving him a break here. So that opens up set pieces. Ryan Christie, maybe Sinistera might be on some set pieces. Cliver also an option. So I think that's the only change. Lewis Cook, Ryan Christie are starting. They found success with Cliver basically playing over Philip Billing in this attacking midfield role. Semenyo is going to be on the right wing. Sinistera, I believe, probably either way, it's going to be Semenyo and Sinistera on the wings, and then Solanke up front in his usual role. Solanke pretty much is a warrior. He goes 90 almost every game, even on short weeks. What do we got here? So kind of what I was battling here with this Brentford lineup. It looks like they did go with a 5-3-2, 3-5-2 formation. Kind of what I was thinking. This is actually this is exactly the lineup I projected. So shouts to me. So we got 5-3-2. We got Saman Godosh, who probably splitting some set pieces with Mbomo here. Godosh playing on the right wing. We got Vitaly Janelt playing on the left wing. Center backs, Madruslev, Ethan Pinnock, Ben Mee. And then the midfield, we got Yarmir Layak starting again. Jensen's still not in the lineup. Danard is back in the bench, though, so that's good for him. But Matthias Jensen's still out. And Bomo, Neil Maupay, actually. Okay, so Johan Visha dropped to the bench. Neil Maupay starts. So it's Maupay and Mbomo up front in this 5-3-2, 3-5-2 formation. So you probably look at it like Visha probably getting subbed on for Neil Maupay, something like that. And then Damsgaard, maybe he's going to be ready for some minutes. They have a lot of injuries, so there's not a huge bench here. So something to monitor because Christian Norgard is suspended and Jensen's out. There's not much. I believe Ola Kigbe actually came off the bench last game, so that'd be something to look into if you're into Brentford there. And I believe we got a couple more here. There we go. All right, so here's Crystal Palace. I was kind of thinking this. So the American Chris Richards is back in the starting 11, and that means Will Hughes is on the bench. Okay, otherwise, I think that's the only change here. Jeffrey Schlupp is back. He missed over the weekend for some personal matter. Otherwise, this is a 4-2-3-1, or however, if you want to say 4-3-3, maybe it's that 4-2-3-1. I'd say Olise as the attacking midfielder, central attacking player. Though he's been playing a bunch on the wing, so maybe it is a 4-3-3 with Elise and IU on the wing. It could be that. I guess it wouldn't be surprised just because Crystal Palace tweeted earlier today, Elise's heat map on the right wing since he returned. So maybe we look at it like that, like it's a 4-3-3. Chris Richards, who won man of the match in Crystal Palace's 1-1 draw at West Ham. He won man of the match playing in this defensive midfield role. So kind of playing out of position of what he's normally played throughout his career, at more as a center back, sometimes a fullback. Otherwise, everything is the same here. So it's a 4-3-3. Richards, Lerma, Schlupp in the midfield, Will Hughes on the bench, and then the usual guys, Ayu, Elise, and Edouard are in there with Mateta, Franca on the bench. Here is Brighton. Brighton, usually one of the harder ones to look at just because they don't list by formation. Looks like we got it up on the probably some mistakes on this formation on our cheat sheet, which we will fix eventually. But I'm assuming with this lineup we actually have Carlos Baleba is going to be a defensive midfielder. Billy Gilmore is a defensive midfielder. Hinshelwood is going to be a left back. Pascal Gross is going to be a right back. I believe that's what it's going to be. So Pascal Gross moving to a fullback. Hinshelwood, who has started the last few matches. I don't believe he's actually gone more than 60 minutes in any. Okay, he went 90 minutes, and then he went 57 minutes when they had a red card. So I guess he's still in play for 90 here for Hinshelwood. So Hinshelwood, I saw today, Hinshelwood was compared to, he is the next Pascal Gross. That's what De Zerbi said about Hinshelwood there. Not to say that he's going to be taking set pieces or anything, but found that an interesting statement. So we have Pascal Gross at right back, Billy Gilmore and Baleba as defensive midfielders. Miedema gets a start as expected. Dinger's on the right side, Bonanote probably in the central midfielder role, and then João Pedro getting the start in the number 9. Probably, I think that's going to be the case. I don't believe Bonanote has actually played in that number 9 role if at all. Maybe a Dinger moves centrally. It's hard to say. It's hard to say with what they've done, but probably Buonanotte centrally. I think he did that maybe a few times last season. Dinger has played exclusively on the wings, and then Miedema is pretty much always on that left wing. So then you got João Pedro up there. But I think that's all we got. Oh, what am I missing here? Oh, we got a Newcastle U21. So shout out. We got Will Brown as the goalkeeper. So we got Leo Shahar, Kyle Crossley. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know any of these Newcastle Academy players. That's all I got, though. So I don't think we have any major comments here. Brighton going to control the midfield, especially with Brentford not having Nordgaard. Billy Gilmore, GPP mid IQ play. That's what JP2911 is telling us. Yeah, I kind of agree that Brentford are going with their defensive formation with the 5-3-2. They don't have, so they're basically starting three central midfielders that aren't regular starters, and then they don't have their top two wingbacks / fullbacks, and then you got Majeruslev playing as a center back. Chanel has played well as a left back. Gadosh is pretty far down the depth chart, but he's been forced into the lineup because Christopher Aguirre is injured as well. So I do agree with that. Brighton are already a team that like to control possession, and they did rotate actually more over the weekend than in this match. I think this Brighton team, this Brighton 11 is better than the 11 that they put in the match at Chelsea when they had a red card. So Igor Van Heck at center back. The question will be, do you want to use Pascal Gross as a fullback as opposed to what he's done previously? Again, rotowire.com/soccer trial, this 48-hour trial. Click on his profile, see what he's done previously this season, last season as a fullback, something useful you can have there. But otherwise, we got all the lineups in. I think that's it. That's all there's to talk about. I'm not seeing there's not too many questions. I think I went over everything pretty solidly. Just giving a really quick look here to see what we have with the formations. I think we're looking pretty good. No major changes. Just this Andre Brooks character. Let me click into him. 20 years old. He's played 19 minutes this season. Wasn't even in the squad the last two matches under Heckingbottom. Played 19 minutes in the opening two matches when Sheffield United didn't add players, when they had injuries. So this is a 20-year-old debut Premier League start. I'm not sure what is I don't even think we have a note on him if I'm being honest. I'm not sure where he came from, what his minutes looked like last season. Academy player Andre Brooks. I know I've seen them tweet about Andre Brooks, but so now you have Andre Brooks, 20-year-old, playing on the left wing. That's the same side as Mohamed Salah. So you got Andre Brooks on the same side as Salah, on the same side as usually TAA is going to be on that side as well, though he has playing centrally at times. So good luck to Andre Brooks. This is a massive spot, but Chris Wilder believes in him. So we'll see. Maybe he's right. Maybe this day of training is enough to get the start here for Brooks. Primary set piece takers for Bournemouth. Yeah, let's click into this and find out. I believe it's going to be Ryan Christie is going to be primary here. He has taken some in the past. I guess I didn't mention Lewis Cook. It'll probably be Lewis Cook and Ryan Christie will be getting some. That is my guess. Clivert took one against Tottenham earlier in the season. We know Lewis Cook is going to be on some, so it's basically who's going to replace Tavernier as a set piece taker. I don't know if Sinistera. We could look into Sinistera. I can't remember if he actually took any for Leeds last season. I'm not sure he would be on that role. Yeah, he's not. So probably I'd say 1, Lewis Cook, 2, Ryan Christie, and then maybe Clivert will get 1, something like that. So that's what I got. Thank you, everyone, for watching this. RotoWire.com/soccer trial. It's a 48-hour trial to get this cheat sheet, all the cheat sheets. Again, we got a 2-gamer coming up. I'm not going to be staying on for a 45-minute show here, just waiting for the other matches to pop up here. But we got Manchester United home against Chelsea, Aston Villa home against Manchester City. We got that cheat sheet up as well. Again, if you're not subscribed, get that 48-hour trial. Check it out. See what it's all about. And once you're in, rotowire.com/chat to get into Discord. But thank you for watching this. You can find me, ask any questions at RotoZdroik on Twitter, or just ask the main RotoWire Soccer account. I run that one as well on Twitter at RotoWire Soccer. Thank you for watching this. Good luck on the slate. We'll see everyone later in the week. We got betting content. Also, if you want betting content, I got a betting article up on the site, and I have a betting article, and then we also have a betting show. So if you want some picks, I already hit Wolverhampton money line in the betting article, and then we have a bunch more plays in the me and Chris Owen, our betting podcast. So check that out if you want to throw some money down. Thank you for watching. Good luck, everyone, on DFS betting or whatever you play.